everybody. Here I am again to give you some quick tips, especially if you're just getting started with homeschooling. Whether your kids are just starting school or maybe you're transitioning out of traditional school into the homeschool setting, I just wanted to share some tips with you. As I'm getting ready for my week, I've got my planner, I've got my lesson plans for my kids, and my pencil that just rolled away. And so I just thought I would share with you kind of what I do and what our schedule looks like. Now, I will tell you, by nature, I'm a very organized person. I like calendars and I like lists. I feel good about myself when I get things checked off my list. I like to have things laid out on my calendar. I don't care for big surprises of whirlwind things to do. So I have definitely been challenged and stretched in that area of my life since we've had kids because things always change, things always come up. So when I first started homeschooling, I had a very regimented schedule. We were going to get up at this time, we were going to have breakfast at this time, and then my day was laid out much like traditional school would be laid out. At this time, we're going to do this subject. At this time, we're going to do this subject. And I found out real quick that that was not going to work. Just as we talked about how setting up your curriculum to follow traditional school doesn't necessarily work in the homeschool setting. I found that I needed to be a lot more flexible and pay attention to the times that my kids learned the best. And what I realized is, even though traditional school might start at 8 o'clock, my kids were not ready to learn at 8 o'clock. They're ready to get up at 8 or 8:30. And we have breakfast, we clean up breakfast, and usually I let them straighten up their rooms and watch TV. That might sound terrible to some of you, but I let them do that because I still have littles that don't homeschool yet, that need me to help them go to the potty, help them get dressed, feed them breakfast, and those types of things. So we use more of a block schedule system. We have our early morning breakfast routine block of time, and we do all of those necessities of the morning: brushing teeth, getting dressed, all those basic things. If you get all your things done in that time and then you want to watch some TV for a little bit while I'm getting the rest of them finished, I'm okay with that. I usually do try to get them to pick something that's educational, Magic School Bus or Wildcat, something along those lines, but that's what our first block of the day looks like. Then our second block of the day, I try to start doing individual subjects. So a lot of times with my older ones, they have things that they can do themselves. So I can go over instructions with my daughter that is finishing up 6th grade for her literature that day. I can tell her, what she needs to read and then go over the instructions with her for what she needs to complete. And she can usually pretty much go do that herself. Then I have 2 younger ones that each need to read to me as well. And I do still like to hear them read aloud. I think it's good practice for them, and it shows me words that they might not be getting if I just had them go read by themselves. So a lot of times I will have one that is doing chores while one is reading to me, and then they switch. That's kind of our second block of the day. Our third block of the day is when we eat. And, you got to have lunch, and it's like a whole crazy commotion. So we get everybody's lunch, we get settled at the table, and then that's when I like to do some of our read aloud things. We usually do our Bible time, our devotion during that time, where we can read and talk about what we've read, what we're learning about, what we feel like God is teaching us through this passage. And then we also will do a read aloud, whether it's Charlotte's Web or that's what we're reading right now, where we all listen. Everybody listens. My middle schooler listens all the way down to the baby. Everybody listens to it. And then may have different things that they do to follow up with that. Or it might just be a book that we enjoy reading. Then we get cleaned up from lunch, and then we go into some of our individual subjects. Obviously, everybody has a different level of math that they're working on, and this kind of leads us into that time. Again, my daughter that's in middle school can pretty much handle that herself. She has a section that she reads, and then she has her section, the real life problems, where you work it out. And so if she needs help, she will come and get me. Otherwise, she can pretty much do that independently. Then my younger ones, I will have one that I start with math, and I will have one that is reading to one of the younger ones. And then a lot of times we switch. This is the time when my youngest is taking a nap, so I have more freedom to be able to work with those who still need my help. We also do review sheets. I put them on a clipboard, and these are just like things that you buy at Sam's, like the 4th grade things you need to know book. And it's just a good way to kind of, because we don't do formal tests in each subject on a monthly basis or anything like that, but it's a great way for me to see if they're retaining the knowledge that they've been learning throughout the year without a high pressure testing situation. And that's what our early afternoon block kind of looks like. Then our later afternoon block is actually our favorite time because it's where we all learn together. And what do we learn together? We do history together, science together, art together. Those subjects are ones that we can cover the same material all together. I may have my daughter read the science lesson to the younger ones. She may have a project to do to go along with that. We love it when we can tie things all together so we can read a book about the big hungry bear and the red ripe strawberry. And then we go to the strawberry farm, and then we do watercolor artwork of strawberries, and we eat some strawberries and look at strawberry recipes. That's the most rewarding segment because we do it all together, and we get to see different things that were important or significant to each of the kids that were special to them and how they learned best in that process. And when they give that information back to you, you get to see how each of them learned it differently, remembered it differently, and share it with each other differently. So it's really, really a cool experience, and that is our favorite part of the day. And as we kind of go through these blocks, if during a segment of time somebody finishes up and others are still working, or I still need to help somebody with something, we have a Lego table set up, so I send them to go do Legos. Or we have puzzles and they go do puzzles until we're finished. Or I might get them to read a book to one of the younger ones. Those types of things. There's always like activities that are in place to kind of fill out our day that aren't necessarily busy work, but allow them to have something to do while they're waiting on me. Now, my big thing about schedules and systems that I just want you to be aware of is they never stay the same. Because your kids are continually growing and getting older. Some of you are probably adding to your families. Maybe some of you are graduating homeschoolers out. I don't know. But you know, families grow and change. So your schedule is going to grow and change with them too. Math might not be their best subject to start first thing in the day with. But just trial and error, look for what works for you, and keep plugging away. See you soon.